All right, welcome to Roleplay Cafe. Still here along with Todd, John, and Doon, and we're rejoining the Alien Session 4. I missed the last session, unfortunately, but glad to get back to it. I'm going to pass it over to John. He's going to update us on our current situation.
Yes. So last time, uh, as Dell mentioned, we were missing Dr. Bircher, his character. And where we picked up on that session was that um, one of the crew members ate something um, that was having. Well, first off, so it appears that the rations are causing problems with general health amongst everybody that is not in hypersleep. And it is specifically affecting one of the crew members, and that is the mechanic Daver Hoblins. And he was missing for about 24 hours. He never came back for any of his meals. And so they went searching for him, and there was definitely something wrong with him. His eyes were all black, and he was mumbling and half conscious. So that's where we ended that session, or the session before 2 sessions ago, session 2. And so Dell's character, Dr. Bircher, was isolating in the infirmary, taking care of Daver and making sure that his condition did not worsen. And he was also assisted by security officer Hamada. And so that left Yoko, the doctor, or I'm sorry, the scientist, basically by himself. So he decided to wake up Todd's character, who is a roughneck named Kip Falcone, but goes by the name Windows because of, I think, their their safety glasses that he always
Safety
wears, right?
glasses, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, uh, Kip helped out around the ship. Yoko encountered some problems with, I believe it was the water filter or the air filter. I don't remember which one it was. But they started doing some investigation to see if there was any evidence of someone tampering with these rations. And that was when Yoko watched some security footage and saw some movement that wasn't accounted for by everybody else. And it turns out that there was a stowaway on board. And they tracked her down into the engineering area and managed to flush her out and capture her. And it turned out to be a little girl, about, 4 or 5 years old. And it turned out to be the daughter of another member of the crew, the pilot, Andy Dudgeon. Girl's name is Katie, and she was a stowaway. She snuck onto the ship at some point, um, and she actually saw some other people apparently stealing these pressure suits that were missing from the storage on the ship, and they left out of an airlock in the vehicle workshop, and that that they didn't appear to mess with anything inside of the vehicle workshop. They did the the team did a general search of the ship, didn't find anything, uh, except for a there seemed to be something wrong with the communication array. It was, some tests were ran on it, and it was giving some weird readings, and someone had to go out onto, like, actually exit the ship and do like a spacewalk to go investigate. Uh, since um, Daver, the mechanic, was in such bad shape that it fell onto Windows to do this. So there was a bit of a discussion as to whether or not they should drop out of faster than light travel and cut their trip short. But after some debate, they decided that they would wait until they arrive at the uh, the planet that they're heading to, which is one of the colonies. The mother colony is trying to reconnect or reestablish communications with. Um, so as soon as they dropped out of faster than light travel, Kip went out with a pressure suit to investigate something, and he found something unusual. Not too far out from the vehicle bay, there was a big circle drawn on the side of the ship, and it wasn't immediately obvious, but based off of how flat the surface was, they realized that some other ship landed here and most likely picked up those four people that stole the pressure suits and exited the airlock, and there was a ship waiting there for them. And this all happened while the Solovetsky Island was docked with the docked at the above the mother colony uh, on the USS or UNCSS Ilyana. So uh, that explains why the pressure suits were gone
Yeah.
and how they got out. But there's it's still not entirely clear why they were on the ship.
Right.
So after discovering that, Kip headed over to the comms array and eventually discovered that there was some sort of black box on there. And he was concerned that it may explode if he tried to remove it. But the other concern was that it was either broadcasting its own messages or intercepting all messages coming and going from the Solovetsky Island. So he decided to he did try to you did try to remove it, right, Todd?
Did I try to remove it? That's a good question.
I'm pretty sure you did, and you failed, and you started to panic, and that's why, and all of your equipment that you brought out there for this specific task just you lost all that, and it started to float out into space.
Yes, tools
Beyond
floating
your
into
grasp.
space.
That's right. I tried to disconnect it, and my tools flew off into space. Yes.
Yes.
Good times.
So the black box is still there and still activated. I did not mention the comm array has been disabled.
That's right.
That was the first thing that happened when you dropped out of, or actually before you dropped out of FTL,
Yes.
to ensure that nothing nefarious was taking place.
That's right.
Before Kip actually started the process of trying to remove this thing. So, Dell, I also did gloss over the fact that Daver's condition started to worsen, and so the decision was made to put him into hypersleep to basically freeze whatever is progressing in him and stop any further contamination. We did establish that Dr. Bircher is confident that neither he nor security officer Hamada seem to be infected. So whatever happened to him does not appear to be contagious. So
Okay, excellent.
I'm going to say that he is now allowing himself and Hamada to leave the infirmary and leave isolation.
Okay, no more quarantine.
So, yes. So, is Kip? So, Todd, is Kip going to stay out there and start looking at this further, or is he just going to give up and come back and maybe try again later once he's scrounged up some more tools?
I need some more tools, I think, to
I feel like
do this properly.
there's something else for the recap.
What's that?
What's that?
The something in our computer systems was screwing with the air supply to the infirmary.
That's right too. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yes, thank you. So
Yeah. Go ahead.
completely forgot about that. So over the course of that time where uh, Kip and Yoko were doing their investigation and dealing with the stowaway and reintroducing her, reuniting her with Dudge the pilot, there was a alarm that started going off in the infirmary. Or no, actually, you discovered that through the security camera that Hamada and Dr. Bircher were unconscious.
Yeah.
And that's when you discovered that the basically the oxygen was being vented out of the infirmary due to some sort of security process that none of you have access to, to see the root cause of, and like the conditions in which it takes place. But once the door was opened, the air filled with, repressurized and had oxygen in it, and so Dr. Bircher and Hamada were, briefly without oxygen, but
Yeah, I
were
still
none
feel
worse for
better
the wear.
if I set up, test blood oxygen levels and just make sure to
Okay.
go through that. Um, and after that, I need to inquire with whoever would be over this. They're probably in cryogenic sleep right now. But as far as engineering, allowing the ventilation systems and whatever. Yeah, I'm just saying that I'd be looking into that.
Okay. Yeah, and I believe the reason that they determined that it was some sort of security triggered security mechanism was because they investigated the air filters and everything inside of the infirmary, and that's they were functioning properly. It's just something caused them to shut off, and but you can certainly investigate that further if you'd like.
Well, yeah, I do it nervously, just kind of check, make sure that my uh, secretive stash of heart medicine is where it should be. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of checking myself too to make sure I'm
Okay.
stabilized. I'm, as far as busy work on the side. But
Yeah, nothing seems out of place. Everyone seemed to have been concerned with you and
yeah,
Hamada, and both of you were unconscious. So yeah,
okay,
there is certainly an opportunity to spend more time and figure out, either through hacking into the system or some other form of investigation to determine what the security trigger is and why it went off.
okay, yeah. As long as I wasn't molested with, and
You
you
were
know,
no one was molested. Yeah.
no, I don't mean. I just meant like my
I
person
know.
or in any kind of
I understand.
or in my sleep or whatever. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's all. I'm just saying I don't know where time wise, but I'll engage in that and checking of
Okay.
Hamada and myself, and then I'll approach to do that. So whatever, I don't know
Okay.
at what time this is occurring,
Right.
or if I just
Yeah. So we'll say that you've been awake maybe for an hour or so. So why don't we
okay,
say that while Kip was out trying to fix his comm array, that's when you went through this process of ensuring that both of you are all right, and then trying to establish that nothing has been displaced of your medication stash and that
well,
sort of thing.
Kip is over. He would be the man that would handle the ventilation shaft, right? As for the
That's yes, yes, yeah.
okay, well, I
Um,
would expect nothing else than the critical failure of the ventilation system with him, handling it or whatever. So
It would have been fine if Diver was in charge.
yeah, yeah.
What?
At least he's competent. You know what I mean? But we're dealing with
What?
Yeah,
incompetency.
which is
So
why.
What the?
I'm
That's
not
why.
saying this. It's just my attitude toward you. You know, like I would expect you to leave the windows open. You know,
Really?
and damnably so in space. You know what I mean? That's the last thing you want to do. So, but you're outside right now. But
Yes, I
those
am.
in the office may hear me grumbling about it a little bit, at least. You know what I mean? At least under my breath.
Uh-huh.
But
Uh-huh. Oh, that's right, too. That's right, too. That's right. I call you Dr. Butcher. That's right, too.
exactly, exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll probably try to. You know, I asked where you are, and that's when I find out you're floating.
Yes, I
Yeah.
am floating in space.
Floating in space, doing the spacewalk. So
Yes.
that's
I'm coming back in, though. I'm coming back in because I got to get some more tools if I'm going to fix this array or try and
either
disconnect this.
in or out, Kip. Make up your mind.
I'm on my way in, Dr. Butcher.
But I'm not saying it. I'm just, I got my dander up or whatever. Because we could have been harmed in some way. But at least you didn't molest us, as John said. So that's good. That's
Are you
always
sure?
nice.
Are you sure?
That's what I did a thorough
Everybody
search,
do a check.
a body cavity search. Yes. Nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
All right. All right.
That's
So,
what
I mean,
that's what I keep telling myself. Rocking
That's
back
right.
and
Nothing
forth.
happened.
all right. So, I mean, is Kip in a rush to get back out there? What is?
Well, I want to go back in and confer with my companions here
All
as
right,
to
fire it ahead.
what we think we should do. Yeah, what should be our priority here, okay? So I'll come back into the vehicle workshop and get on the intercom, explain the situation about the tools floating off, and that do we want to get this array, to get this black box off the array, or what? Because we can't talk to the planet side folks until we get the comms back up.
We need our
That's what we
comms
have
up.
to decide. Oh,
We
our
need our
comms are
comms
down,
up.
right? Our comms are down now, but do we want to take a chance raising the comms because we don't know what this black box is going to do, right?
I just want to, but before you guys start discussing this, I want to remind you that you have arrived at the colony and
Yes,
you
I
are
know
in
that. Yeah.
very high orbit above the planet, so you
Right.
could try to contact them.
Oh, even without turning comms on?
No. I meant if you turn the comms on,
Yeah.
you could theoretically get a response where you couldn't when you were back at the mother colony.
That's right. So that's what Yoko is thinking. The priority is to make contact with this colony, or at least see if they're transmitting anything that we wouldn't have caught back at the mother colony. I think maybe can we, at least if we can't disable the black box, can we build a blacker box and at least be able to intercept anything that's coming out of that?
You want to build a blacker box
to monitor the activity of the black box, even if we can't see the inside of it. Yeah. To know if it's broadcasting, to intercept any messages it transmits, and we can assume we can assume that it's collecting our transmissions, but we can at least try to detect if it's transmitting anything itself.
All right. I could maybe something together.
Bertha just issues long-winded sighs when you add.
I'm sorry. There's static coming over the doctor's channel there here. Yeah. So I don't know.
He doesn't seem to understand Yoko.
You can do something like that, right? Windows.
Yeah. I can do something like that. Yeah.
I think that's
I got it.
We have to enable comms.
All right. Okay. You give me a little bit of time. and I'll see what I can put together down here. Okay.
All
so
right.
that's what I'm gonna do.
All right. That sounds like a good plan.
Build a blacker box.
Oh yes,
So-
we could signal them with Morse code.
What,
you would use
colony?
alternative signal? We could not enable the comms array and try to
We
do something else.
we could use. Actually, would they be able to see us? Would they have any way to see us from the planet?
It depends on.
It really depends. It depends on what condition they're in. You know,
Yeah.
if they have a fairly well functioning colony, then it's possible they might be able to pick up some visual communication. But
We can try that first.
there's
Come now. Couldn't we relay it through a satellite? I'm sure that there's one about. You obviously had a vantage point to see that, didn't you, Windows?
I didn't notice
so there. I will
Of course
clarify.
not.
There should be satellites that are functioning that would allow them to communicate with the mother colony.
Right.
It's possible that they are, something happened to them. That if there's no colony down there, obviously that would be why they didn't reply. So it's there should be a colony somewhere. I mean, I'm sorry, a satellite somewhere in orbit here, assuming nothing has happened to it. Whether it's functioning is. You don't know.
Right. Okay.
I guess while Windows is designing his blacker box, we can try to see if we can visually or otherwise just detect any satellites.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So.
I'm sorry, Yoko. I just don't do Windows.
I understand.
Lucky me.
All right. So rigging up this this blacker box, as we're calling it, is going to require a ComTech role.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, you did you do have I don't know who has ComTech, but Judge, I don't think either the doctor or the scientist has any ComTech. You can tell me if I'm wrong.
Oh.
But Dudge is still awake, and he does have ComTech, so he is willing to assist Windows in rigging this up if he needs it.
I'm actually good at it. I should probably help. I have 1 and 5 wits, so I have 6.
Oh well, then why are you doing this? Yeah. Okay. I should be helping you.
Well, you can. You're happy. You're welcome to help me if you want me to do it. I thought you were capable of doing this. Windows.
Well, after you're talking a little bit, and I hear you, use a couple of terms that maybe I wasn't all up on, and kind of look at you, and go, you know what? Maybe you should drive this one, okay?
Let's see what we can cobble together. And I go to the. I'll meet you in the workshop. Is that the best place to build this, or should we build it? We don't build in the bridge. We're building in the workshop.
Workshop. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So do you want Dudge with you, or should he stay in the bridge? He is the pilot. Do you want him to stay in the bridge, or?
I think he should stay in the bridge.
Assist.
I imagine he's just like hovering over his daughter.
No, well, his daughter's in cryo sleep now.
Yes, I still imagine. Yeah.
I think he should stay in the bridge.
Probably did that for a while, but
keep us in orbit. Make sure we don't crash. It seems like a good plan.
Yeah, and Doctor, don't you have some I don't know, anal thermometers to go count or something somewhere while we're doing this, Doctor?
Somebody's been stealing them. I wonder who.
Wonderful.
Oh, good.
All right. So we know what Kip and Yoko are going to do. What is Dr. Bircher going to do?
I'm going to go check on the girl and give her.
Okay.
Once he mentions her, I'll be in the What do you call it? The
Infirmary. It's called an infirmary. You are a doctor, right?
No, they're all in.
I'm a bit
In the
groggy. It seems I'm trying to get more oxygen to my brain. But I need to.
So
I need to look at the girl.
On deck A, there are 2 cryo chambers. I don't know why it won't ping for me. They're in the top right-hand corner. Somebody just pinged there. That is both where the girl and the rest of the crew is currently in hypersleep. The Daver is in a hypersleep in the infirmary, rather in one of the med pods, rather than, you don't want to carry him halfway across the ship and expose him to stuff. So the med pods can be put into cryo sleep in addition to the standard cryo pods. So you're just going to go over and monitor, make sure everybody's okay, and nothing's out of place.
Just do my rounds, as it were. The girl, now that I found out new information about the guy that we're trying to arrest, his cellular decay or whatever the case may be. So I'll just monitor him and maybe see if I can get any information on his situation to evaluate him further. Maybe take off a piece of tissue or something.
That's a good idea. See if you can learn anything about Daver's condition.
Yeah, we certainly don't want anything contagious or an outbreak of any sort. So that's what I'll be trying to do.
Okay. All right. We will come back to that, and we can we'll have you do some rolls, or at least one roll, and I'll give you some more information there if you succeed. So let's cut back to the efforts of Yoko and Kip to create this blacker box that I assume is going to be installed further ahead in the the comms array, so that it can monitor everything that the black box is doing.
Yeah.
So give me that comm tech roll. Who I guess it's going to be Yoko with some help from Kip. We can just since there doesn't. I looked it up, and there doesn't seem to be any way to input help into these roles, which doesn't make any sense. That seems to be a huge gap there. So we'll just I'll just roll separately for the help of
just an extra d6.
Okay. Yeah.
So I imagine that I imagine Kip's like, sorry, not Kip. I imagine Window is like kind of on edge, right? Because he's all like panicked and whatnot. And I'm like a very calm presence here, working on this project. Like,
I'm not panicked. I'm not panicked. I'm not panicked. Okay. Who said I was panicked?
Okay. Your edginess is rubbing off on me. Windows, you're making me nervous. There's nothing to be worried about. We're just gonna get everything back online.
You're starting to panic. You know what? If it's because you're starting to panic me. Okay. Because you're panicking.
And that panic is rubbing off onto Yoko.
I'm like trying to connect some wires here.
You know what? I'm gonna go stand over here, okay? Because you don't work good under pressure. All right. So I'm gonna stand over here. And you just calm down, and I'm gonna go have a smoke, and you just calm down, okay?
All right.
How does this happen?
How does that roll stress? I think you just have to click roll stress.
Okay.
All right. You you manage, since Kip excused himself, you managed, to keep it together, and he didn't push you over the edge, but you did get the success that you need. So
I'm a little bit more. I'm a little bit more. Like excited now. Like adrenaline's going. I don't know why. I'm just building this thing.
That can help. All right, you've after a good hour or so, you've completed that black box, and you step out of the workshop and find Kip leaning up against the wall, smoking a cigarette.
It's good, Kip. I think if you install it after the whatever condenser relay, it'll be good.
Yeah. After the condenser relay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Okay. All right, give it to me. I got it. Go. Okay. So I'll take that. I'll go back. Get back in my EVA suit.
Okay.
And yeah. Oh, can I head out and do that?
Do we have a tool printer? Like, can we print wrenches and stuff?
You can do that back at the mother colony, but you cannot do that here. You do not have the 3D printer here. I mean, there is a substantial amount of tools. So, you know, Kip wasn't able to recover every single piece that he lost out into space, but what he needs to install this black box is available.
Right. Okay.
But once you've made it back to the mother colony, you will. We're going to assume that you replenish everything that you had potentially lost over the course of your mission.
Okay.
All right. So, why don't we do the black box installation, and then we will cut back to Dr. Bercher and what his results are from his investigation.
Okay.
All right. So, you were just out here just a few hours ago.
Yeah.
So it's not a big deal to get back to where that black box is.
Right.
I am going to have you do a heavy machinery roll to get this installed.
Okay.
Failure of this will not mean it doesn't get installed. The installation process is fairly simple, but something could go wrong with the associated systems if you fail this roll.
Okay. All right. So I'm working away at it. And
God.
You haven't failed.
You have not failed, but you did roll a 1 on your stress die. So
yeah, well, it's
Todd, I'm
you
gonna
know,
need you to click roll stress.
I'm sweating, and the sweat is like bubbling up and floating around inside my helmet, getting my eyes.
Yeah.
I roll stress. Which
just click on the word roll stress underneath the yellow dice.
It doesn't do anything. I clicked on stress on my character sheet.
Stress. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Panic condition 3. Roll 8 more panic. Oh. What?
Oh, boy.
PC's panic levels increase by 1 step to level 10. See more. Freeze. You're frozen by fear or stress for 1 round, losing your next slow action. Your stress level and the stress level of all friendly PCs in short range of you increases by 1.
Okay, so this is what's so you've installed the box, and you realize that the power draw that this box is taking out of the system is causing another system to overheat, and it's possible that your concern is that the entire comms array is going to stop working if this particular section of the system overheats and burns out, and it's going to be like a multi-day process to replace it. And so that's when you start to freeze, and you so we're going to you explain you don't know what to do, and we're going to come back to you in just a second, and you're going to have to make a decision whether you're going to just disconnect the power of this thing to try to save it, or you're just going to risk it and see what happens.
Okay, and I'm going to run and get Sam off TV.
Okay, perfect. All right. So Dr. Bercher has been drawing out some samples from Daver, and is looking at them under the microscope. He's taking samples from various parts of the body. Some lymph nodes,
Yeah.
some of the drawing some blood, uh, some he's gone through maybe a dozen samples, and then he decides to try to take a brain sample.
Oh.
So there seems to be some unusual electrical activity that seems to be going on in his brain that shouldn't be taking place while he's in cryosleep. And due to
Ah.
the effect of his eyes, of his eyes turning black, that's what tipped you off that maybe something's going on um, in his head. And you take a brain sample and look at that underneath the microscope, and you realize that there is some sort of virus that uh, has is penetrating the brain cell sample that you took, and seems to be manipulating the DNA for some other purpose that
Wow.
you cannot determine right now. It's going to take more research.
But it looks purposeful in this rearrangement of the molecular structure of the DNA. I
Yes,
mean, it doesn't
it's
look
almost
chaotic or random. It looks
no.
patternistic
This
almost.
Yeah, this virus seems to be restructuring the DNA for some other purpose inside of these individual brain cells that you drew a
Wow.
sample from.
Yeah, I take a you know pull back from the microscope for a minute and let this sink in. A little bit nervous there as I leave the slide in place and have my gloves on, right? So
Mhm.
this is really interesting. Is there any other battery of tests I can take, like run it through a computer, or
Yes. So
not?
there's some simulations you can run to see what like the end result is going to be.
Yes.
I mean, then you can also take some several more samples of different areas and see if it's isolated to particular regions of the brain.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. Begin on that and run different probabilistic tests about what it's trying to do with the DNA in the restructuring of it.
Okay.
This is
All right. So that's going to take a few hours to
yes,
complete. Is that what you're going to concentrate on,
that is definitely
like
what I'm
individually?
concentrating on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So while Kip is outside, frozen, afraid he's going to burn out the comm array, what is Yoko doing, dude? Is he just in
Hmm.
contact with Kip, or is he off doing something else?
I imagine I'm in contact with Kip, or I mean,
Okay.
I'm waiting for Kip. Maybe I'm just playing with Jonesy in the down by the
All right.
vehicle workshop outside, leaning on the same wall that Kip was leaning on earlier, waiting for me.
All right. So yeah, I mean, if you're in constant contact with him, you're checking in every once in a while,
Yeah,
and
I say, Kip,
eventually
how's everything going out
you
there?
don't you hear some swearing, and then dead silence, and it's like panic swearing, like something bad is happening.
Yeah. Kip. Okay. I guess I'll start suiting up. I don't know.
Okay. All right. We will see. I guess Todd is not back, so hmm.
Yeah, so Kip, Windows is frozen outside and not responding on comms, so I gotta go find out what's going on out there.
All right. So you start suiting up and heading out the airlock and making your way across, and uh, you see Kip. Uh, he's just staring at this system, trying like you can see the black box. We'll
Yep,
say
yep.
you're about maybe like 30 feet out, and you can see that the black box that you designed is installed.
That's good.
But he is, he's sitting there
just staring at it.
Just staring at it, like trying. He doesn't seem to know what to do. You do see a flashing red light on a monitor system that is further up the comm array near the satellite dish.
A different red light blinking?
Yes. Like this is like a bad red light blinking. It is indicative that there is some sort of problem, and that is the general area that Kip is staring at.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm just making my way over to him, and then I imagine I'll like tap 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 on the side of his helmet, like, yeah. You have to, you have to disconnect the thing from the other thing.
You don't get any response from him. His eyes are darting back. He seems to be trying to process what you're saying, but his arms are not moving. Are you going to try to take over and do it yourself, or try to get him to respond to you and begin acting?
Let me look at my character sheet real quick.
Okay.
Back, guys.
I think I would grab the shoulder and like try to like shake him a little bit and be like, Windows.
What?
Okay, let's see if he can snap you out of it. Give me a manipulation roll.
Would he come out there to get me?
Yep,
yeah,
I'm out
you
here with
suited
you.
up because you stopped you started swearing when something, as though something went wrong, and then you stopped responding. So Yoko decided to come out and.
Whoa.
2 successes. All right. So yeah, that is definitely going to snap Kip back into it. And he is, he's recovered from Todd. He's recovered from his panic roll.
Okay.
And with the extra success, I'm going to say that you have a bit more time to figure out what this problem is before it actually overheats. So, you don't know if it is. I mean, it is exposed to space, so it's possible that it'll stay within tolerances. But this flashing red light is is supposed to be something that is treated, but you don't know what exactly is going on with the system because of this mysterious black box.
Windows,
is on
snap
there.
out of it. Just disconnect that conduit, and then we'll buy that'll buy us some time to figure out what's going on.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'm just gonna do it.
All right, so you completely disconnect the system that is beginning to overheat.
Overheat, yes.
The red light goes out.
Yes.
The diagnostics that you are running afterwards on the communication system, it seems that it could be brought back online. Like everything should be functional.
Yeah. Okay. So you're telling me I could probably hook it back up again, you mean? Is that what you're saying?
We're going to have to reroute some power?
What I'm saying, so what I'm saying is that what you disconnected is not going to prevent the entire comms array from functioning.
Right. Okay.
So you could hook it back up and see and hope it doesn't burn out something important. Or you can just leave it disconnected the way it is.
Yeah, maybe we just leave it disconnected then. Okay.
Then we won't be able to gather the information from the blacker box. Is that right?
Oh no! The blacker box is still in the link. It's just drawing power from this other system. If you want to try to figure out what this system is, you could do it. You could do a roll, but it is.
Okay. I thought you were just being vague.
So the current state is that we're potentially drawing power from a system that we don't know what it is.
Yes.
Okay, so some ship system might need that power, but we don't know what it is yet.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, we should find out what that is.
Well,
okay.
let's put our heads together.
Okay. Is this an observation?
So you can either try to do it from outside, or you can have the pilot try to run some diagnostics from the bridge and get an idea of what is going on. But
okay.
Yeah, observation is most likely, running diagnostics is fairly.
Okay.
You have to do pretty extensive diagnostics to figure out what these individual pieces do.
All right.
So if we just go inside right now, what's working and what's not working? The black box is working.
The comms array is shut down completely. So
okay.
I mean, nothing has really changed at this point. But according to the diagnostics that Kip ran, the comms array should work, and if it's brought back online, and the blacker box should be able to monitor whether or not the black box is transmitting anything.
Okay, so we can go inside. We can turn the comms back on. Everything will work. Something will be hindered somehow, but we don't know what yet.
But we don't know yet. Right.
Let's. I say we at least turn the comms on to see if we can make contact with the planet. Let's get inside.
Yep. Okay, let's go.
All right. You make your way back inside. I assume you're gonna, let Dr. Bircher know what's going on. But
let's all get to the bridge and well, at least Bircher, we're back inside. The blacker box is installed. We're gonna go to the bridge with Dudge and fire everything back up. Have we since we're here? Are we taking everyone out of hypersleep at cryo?
It's up to you.
Let's take everyone else out of cryo sleep. I think that we're here. Let's take everyone out, and then we will activate the comms array as soon as everyone's ready to go in the bridge or at their stations or whatever. That's my suggestion.
All right. I assume that Katie is staying asleep, right? Just so she stays out of trouble. Is that's what you guys had planned before?
Yeah. Yes. If I'm privy to any of this, I don't want them waking up, especially the individual I'm working on. Or Katie.
Yeah. That's assumed that Daver is not going to be.
Daver and Katie are out. They're staying in cryo.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to establish that and make sure I can have a lot of fun if there's a 4-year-old. All right.
You have the cat.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I mean, it's not a trivial process of waking up the rest of the crew. That it takes a bit of time. You need, they're really groggy when they wake up. They need to get dressed, eat something in order to be reasonably functional. So we'll say that takes about an hour. Dr. Bircher is still spending time. He's not diverting from his research, right, Del? While that's going on, or is contact with the colony more important than what he's currently doing?
Del?
Dr. Bircher?
Oh, did we lose Del?
Dr. Bircher.
Paging Dr. Bircher.
Paging Dr. Bircher.
Yeah, I actually don't see his picture here anymore. Oh, maybe he stepped away because he's muted. I just realized that.
Oh, okay.
Maybe he didn't say anything. All right, so he seemed pretty seemed like he wanted to concentrate on that. So let's just assume that he's going to do that for the time being while everybody else is waking up. So you now have, besides Daver, you have your full crew, Counselor Lakota Monroe, ICC Inspector Tan Blotchman, Dudge was already awake, and so was Security Officer Hamada, and then you also have Prospector Emily Quintana. So each of these people have the counselors is basically a diplomat, is you know is good for making first contact with some of these colonies that may have been out of touch with people off planet for quite some time. ICC Inspector Tan Blochman is uh, basically is making sure that the everyone's following proper processes and isn't risking the mission. And then Prospector Emily Quintana is a expert in the viability of any particular colony, like whether the mine is still good, and there's still value in reestablishing the colony. And then Hamada as a security officer is pretty straightforward.
Okay.
So
does Tan Blatchman have anything to say about how we handled everything that we've done so far? Do we I imagine, or should we play that? Or I mean, we all meet up and, or everyone wakes up and then we tell them what happened, right? I imagine.
Yeah, that's up to you. I mean, we can certainly have a scene where, when he realizes that Daver is not around, he was, um, but I mean, he was awake. He was one of the people that was going to stay awake, so he might assume that he's in engineering doing something.
I guess maybe I'll just tell them while everyone's waking up and eating, getting their first meal, even though they're probably all
okay.
Yeah. I want to tell everyone the same thing I said before, basically, when we left, because we left, everyone was in cryo, and I told everyone that we're in it together. So I want to give a similar speech and also update everyone on what happened while we were en route, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Not so as you've all, should I just start talking?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, I did the.
It's okay.
Okay, I'm back on track now. Yeah, I was trying to say desperately. Yeah, I wanted to focus on what I was doing.
Okay, we got you.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, kind of.
I'm so. If anybody would see me, I'm so intently. I'm this scope. I'm rubbing it like crazy as I'm focusing on what I'm doing. Anyway, I was doing sign language and everything. I was throwing it all out there. But I'm glad you caught it. I was sending Morse code flashes. Everything.
Yeah, actually, I think your video cut out because I thought you purposely ended your video because you were doing something or talking to somebody. So we didn't. Yeah, your video isn't playing anymore. So.
Oh yeah, I turned it off. But,
Okay. All right. So after Yoko, explains and tries to keep morale up. What happened? The crew looks pretty concerned over this. They've been with Daver for quite some time and are worried for him. But Tan speaks up and he says, "Well, the doctor's looking after him, so there's not much more we can do other than our jobs and get this mission over with. If the doctor can't cure him, then we need to get back to the mother colony as quickly as possible and get him some medical attention there. So the only thing to do is our jobs and as proficient and as quickly as possible."
On that, I couldn't agree more. Thanks, Tan.
Well, let's get to it. And he steps up from his, the table where you guys were eating, and everyone seems to be ready to get to work. So, what's your first step going to be?
Our first order of business is to make contact or to try to see if they're transmitting anything, and maybe we'll decide if we want to send a signal to them. But let's go see what we can see from the bridge. I guess let's So we have visual of the planet, right?
Yes.
The planet
So
seems normal, not like a
yeah.
ball of fire.
Well, just to reiterate, this is basically like an arid planet. It is slightly, let's see, the gravity is approximately 1 g in comparison to Earth. There is a super canyon that stretches from the northern or southern to the northern hemisphere, slightly out of parallel with the equator. And the colony, the Gorham colony that was here, is situated in the northwestern hemisphere. It is. It should be. I mean, they generally try to establish these colonies in both the most human friendly location, but also has the most resources. So you could do an entire planetary scan. That would take some time, but you know where the colony should be located. And if you bring the comm array, you could try to establish that communication.
Since we don't fully know what the invasive or parasitic black box is going to do, I suggest we activate the comm array for long enough to send a signal to the colony and see if they respond, and then disable the comm array after that.
Yeah. All right.
We can also, at the same time, send our preliminary report to the mother colony. How much we want to report of our journey here and our extra passengers. I'll say we're not a passenger ship, but we have passengers now. We should make a decision on what we want to include in our report together.
So we're going to be able to see what they're intercepting from us. Is that what this lacquer box is going to do?
No, you'll see if they're broadcasting something other than your communications that you've sent and received.
We have to assume that the black box is gonna intercept everything we send, but what we can detect is anything it sends.
Okay. All right, let's do that then.
So what should we do? We want to change? Do we want to adapt our message at all to withhold information so that the black box can't see it? For example, we can send a perfect everything's great and nothing has gone wrong message to the mother colony, and with the and give them a full report later, or we can give them our
oh wait, no, he's back. Doon, you there?
Oh, did I disappear? Sorry. Whoa.
Yeah, we didn't really hear anything.
Okay, I was talking
really
for a while.
Disappeared so much as winked out of existence for a moment.
No problem. My internet does that sometimes. I'm not sure why, but I'm sure the recording got it. I'll say it again. What I was saying is, we need to decide as a group if we want to send the complete message with all the events to the mother colony, so that they are fully apprised of our extra passenger and our current status, or we can send them a perfect honky-dory, everything is great message. We arrived as scheduled, to withhold that information from the black box, and then give them the revised full report later when we have more information to work with. I don't have a strong feeling about this, other than I think it's other than my priority is to maintain the mission, which is to make contact with Borum Colony and assess its viability and help their welfare. That's my priority, which is totally not that we can always report the truth to the mother colony later. I don't have a strong feeling about that.
Oh, okay. You just want to send them some sort of false message.
Well, I could send them the truth or a false message. I'm just saying I don't mind sending them a false message if we think it's safer to do that given the black box, which we assume will intercept our message.
Okay.
Yeah, I trust you implicably.
Yes, he does. He does.
He's a kindred intellect.
Oh gosh.
Do you, Doctor? Okay. Like to the aside, Doctor, do you have anything to, to ease Windows Edge a little bit? He seems quite stressed out.
Whether I have something potent enough, but I'll check. I'll give him a relaxative. That put him to sleep and loosen his bowels a little bit.
A relaxative.
Yeah. Yeah, my son Jory said that years ago. He wanted to combine those two together. Anyway.
Relaxative. Okay. All right.
There you go.
Sure, I'll have one of your relaxatives.
Yeah. There you go. I'll mix it extra potent for you. Mix it up.
So. Okay. Thank
so
you.
Does anyone have any opinion on whether we should send the truth or a false report?
Until I agree with you. Until we know what they're if they are intercepting our comms, I don't think we should tip our hand.
What we could do, Windows, is just send a fake perfect report, and then see if the black box transmits anything.
Sure. Yeah.
Right, because if it intercepts and retransmits, then we know that it's sending our information elsewhere.
Yep. And we don't want whoever to know that we know.
That they know.
That they know. That we know. That we have blacker box.
Okay, right? So the plan is turn on the black box, send everything is great, we've arrived as scheduled, and we are attempting to make contact with the colony message to the mother colony. And then also attempt to make contact with the colony with our standard procedure, which is sending the same message that the mothership sent, or that the mother colony sent back when, saying, hey, we're reaching out and we need to know you're okay. Are you okay?
Right.
Yeah, if y'all are on trial later, I just want you to know that Bircher is not privy to this conversation. In fact, he'll wave you off, because he's got more critical issues to deal with.
Fair.
Okay.
All right. So, you activate the comms array and broadcast your message to the mother colony, explaining the current situation, leaving out the details that you said you wanted to leave out. You monitor the black box, and it does not seem to be adding or subtracting or replacing anything about this broadcast. So, whatever it's doing, it let your broadcast go through to the mother colony. It'll probably take about a day or so for them to receive it, but they should receive it as you stated in the message.
This is good.
All right. So you turn your broadcast to the colony, which is located in some rocky, ravine. And according to your records, the location is called the Tontus Ravine. That is where you direct your broadcast, because that is where the colony is supposed to be. And you repeat the exact, general message that the mother colony sent out to all of these colonies, and you wait and get no response.
Oh.
It is possible that there is a sandstorm that is taking place in the general area. But you have direct line of sight to this ravine, so the sandstorm should not be interfering with it. But
Right.
you don't. I mean, that's the only cause other than everyone's dead there that you can think of.
Who's the meteorologist? Is it me? How long is this sandstorm going to stick around, and is it imminently going to hit the colony?
Uh, you, I mean, having just arrived, I mean, you can. It'll take a little bit of time to predict. But if you want to spend that time, I can tell you where the storm might be headed. Do you want to spend that time to figure that out?
My thinking is time is not. We don't. I think the pressure of time is in our favor right now. Meaning they've they're if they're all dead, they're all dead. If they're still alive, they've made it this long, and they weren't expecting us, so we don't have to get down there right this second.
Yeah, they're probably not in the
time is
process
on your
of
side.
dying just as you arrive.
So
Okay, so you do.
My feeling is I would want to run the weather analysis to see what the storm is going to do, because we do want to send an away team, or we do want to take a shuttle down to the surface to the colony, but we shouldn't go right in the middle of a sandstorm, right? I assume everyone agrees with me.
Yeah. So you start scanning the storm, and it seems to cause some electrostatic noise that could be interfering with the communications. The air is so dry there that wherever the storm goes, it carries an electrostatic charge with it. So you start scanning for that and seeing the path that uh, that this charge took through the atmosphere, and it does look like it is headed towards the area of this of where this colony is. However, while you're performing that scan, you realize that there is a separate electromagnetic signal coming from the Tontus ravine. And that is usually indicative of power generation there. So you do a heat signature scan of the area, and you can see that there is somebody living there. There, there's heaters being ran. There's heat from the power generation, and so somebody seems to be living down there. Whether or not this storm is causing the interference or not, you're not sure. But the storm is going to it's going to head in that general area, but it's not actually going to hit the colony itself. So you don't believe that it's going to cause any issues.
Good. There's people
to
there.
Actually go down there.
This is good. This is good news. We have an explanation for why they couldn't respond, and we see that there's clearly heat down there. I think what's his name? Blatchman protocol is to send people down there, right?
That is correct, and I'm coming with you.
Wonderful. I don't necessarily mean that.
All right, people, we got to get suited up and get to the dropship. I assume that Dudge is going to be piloting the ship.
Dudge is staying.
All right. Well, who's going to pilot the dropship?
Oh, we're going down the planet now?
Oh, sorry. I thought Dudge was... Sorry. Yeah, Dudge should pilot the dropship. That makes sense. I thought Dudge was staying on the big ship, but there's no reason. There's no need to pilot the big ship.
it's up to you guys whether who's going and who's staying. So, but
Okay.
it sounds like Anne, who is the ICC inspector, is going to go, and I assume Yoko's going to go. Does anybody have piloting besides Dudge?
I don't think I do.
Let me see. Let
Nope.
me see if any of the NPCs do. Emily Quintana has piloting, but it's not very good. She has a 1.
All right, we take. Who should we take? Dutch the pilot seems like a smart, wise decision. We probably want to take the counselor for diplomacy, or we can be the diplomats. But
oh, well, why would I go down there?
Good question.
Don't see.
Well, we don't have the regular mechanic, so I don't know what that means. What that means? Stupid inspector wants to go. There's how many people can the ship hold? The drop ship?
The drop ship can hold. Well, they could probably hold all of you if you wanted them to. It can hold 12.
I mean,
we know there's people.
There's people down there.
No,
I can see a doctor going because there might be medical emergency down there.
Definitely.
Yeah, if it wasn't so.
Well, they might need.
But
they might need help with their comms. Like if their systems are malfunctioning, you could help.
You're much better at the comms tech stuff than I am. There.
Yeah, what are you good at, Windows?
I'm a good heavy machinery. Heavy machinery and heavy machinery.
Maybe there'll be some rocket launchers down there.
Close combat too. So, but
I'm concerned whenever I do find out that you're leaving because it's been so engrossed. I'm concerned about. Yeah, I'll come to you with fear about spreading a potential contingency. I need to lock this down and find out what's going on with him. You know what I mean? And I need to test whoever was with me at the time when we found him. You know what I mean? And myself.
I think you already ran those tests.
Yeah. I mean, we did initially, but I'm looking for something different now. But I'm just saying I don't know where I'm at on the stage of understanding this. This, so I'm looking at a different situation potentially. Sorry, the criteria I may be looking for on a checkup.
I'm just saying, is there anybody that you've woken up that's like security?
Yeah. Security was already with us.
He was already awake. Yeah.
All right, and we have like Space Marines.
No, there's no Space Marines, but she is a former Space Marine.
Okay.
Right. But I'm agitated.
Colonial Marine.
Out in my situation because once other people started milling about, and I took notice that you've opened up, all the containment, the cryogenic sleep. They could have been isolated, but now it's potentially blossomed this potential contagion. So I'm a little bit visibly peeved that I wasn't, you know what I mean, asked about this, especially coming out of cryo sleep. So, but that's my spiel, whether y'all take it or not. You know what I mean, or just turn me aside as some kind of a quack.
Okay, so I think the pilot, I think security, probably, I think the counselor, right? Those are the three main people. They could probably take the mission without us. But
yeah.
But those three, and then I imagine we're all going, right?
No, I'm
really gonna. Are you gonna stay on the ship?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Taking care of the ship. I'm taking care of the ship. Why would I go down there?
Yeah, I'm going.
Okay.
All right.
Go.
All right. So, We've got Yoko is going down with Dudge is piloting, you said, right? And you're
Dudge.
taking Lakota and Hamada with you. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. So the drop, you guys put on your suits, load up in the drop ship, and disembark from the Solovetsky Island and start heading into the atmosphere.
Wait a minute. Wait. We're not going to have any comms with you guys, are we?
No, we're not. Are you? Do we have another dropship or is there only one?
No, there's two dropships.
Okay.
Okay.
There's two areas for them on either side.
Okay. Listen. Wait.
In the hangar bay.
Before you guys go.
Okay.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No.
I'm just saying. If we're going to have our comms shut off, right? I think we should have a prearranged time that we'll turn the comms back on and try and make contact with the dropship.
Okay. Well, see, now I'm starting to second guess my plan of turning the comms off, because if we need to be able to receive if there's any messages, right? It doesn't make sense to be like, hey, we're here to help, and then turn your radio off.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Me.
The best of the best of the best. That's what they said on this mission.
Keep an open mind, yeah.
Okay, so do you want to change the plan?
No, I think it's okay, because we're gonna go talk to them, and with our mission, we'll at high noon on today, we'll
okay, at high noon, local time.
Yep.
In the Tauntaun Ravine.
Yep.
Is that where it is?
It's the Tauntas.
Is that where the colony is?
Yes.
The yes, the Tauntas Ravine is where the actual colony is. Yes.
Okay, so local time there, noon. We will contact you. We'll turn on the array and attempt to make contact.
And we'll hopefully be able to make contact with the colony and gain access to their equipment and see what we can send up.
Okay, and if you don't get back in touch with us, then we'll just send down another ship.
Or we'll make a signal fire too if we have to.
Okay, sure. What could go wrong?
So if you see everything burning, everything's good.
Everything's good. Okay. All right. Good to know.
All right. So,
watch the world burn.
Yep.
All right. So the dropship starts entering the atmosphere, and the side, the air inside really starts to get hot as as it hits the resistance. Eventually, the horrible shaking that's taking place starts to even out as you get into the lower atmosphere and start making your way down to the ship. I mean, down to the colony. Once you're about 30,000 feet away from the colony, Dudge chimes into the intercom in the dropship and says, "I'm taking a look at this ravine, and it does not look like a good place for us to land. It is going to be pretty dangerous flying in between these crags and avoiding all these rocks. I can see the colony, though."
Any signs of life?
It seems to be. I mean, if you picked up those heat signatures, we're not close enough for me to be able to actually see people moving around, but there's definitely somebody down there.
Well, just get us as close as you can.
All right, so he starts coming down and looking, and he kind of does a pass along this entire ravine. And he chimes back in and says, There is a downed ship about maybe 5 kilometers away from the ravine that we could land at. It looks quite a bit safer. Should I do that or risk landing at the colony itself?
A wreck, you say?
Yeah,
Like a
it seems
shipwreck?
to be. Yeah, it seems to be. I can't quite make out the model, but it seems to be some sort of transport ship.
And what's the distance again from the colony from the?
It's about 4 kilometers. I see a good spot about 500 meters away from this ship that I could land in.
Yeah, if you see a good landing spot, take it. Parking's at a premium.
All right. All right. So I'm going to do a regular piloting roll for Dudge. And he got his success. All right, so the dropship comes down, and you can see this this transport ship that's downed. Tan points it out. That's an old Bison class ship. They used to run those for transporting ore out of colonies. I haven't seen one of those in a long time. Those would be in museums back home.
Huh.
The ship comes down and lands with a thud, and the the cabin depressurizes, and Dudge chimes in and says, "We should be able to breathe just fine in here. We won't need our pressure suits."
Atmosphere is good here.
Yeah, it's should be just like back on Earth if you've ever been. And he playfully pats Tan on the back, who's probably never been on Earth.
I guess protocol is to not use our pressure suits.
It's
What's
up to
protocol?
you. Yeah.
Oh, there's no protocol. We make up the protocol.
I mean, it's really whoever's taking leadership over the excursion is really responsible for it.
Yeah, I'm the prime directive.
I mean,
wrong show.
I mean, if you can breathe the atmosphere, I mean,
yeah, I'm just like I guess
a lot of bulkiness to carry around with you.
I guess I'm just trustworthy. Sorry, trusting. He says, "No pressure suits. No pressure suits needed. Let's go." How big is this Bison ship?
It's a bit bigger than the Solovetsky Island.
It's pretty big. It would take us a while
it's a transport ship. It has what seems to be like it looks like it crashed here in the ravine, like a long time ago.
Yeah. Is there any visible like damage that, other than the crash itself, that would indicate a cause of crash?
Looks like the environment, like maybe dust storms and stuff that have come through, have really eaten away at it a bit. You can see that there is the remnants of its access ramp is still exposed and leads up into the hull. Most likely it crashed while it was landing, and people, there were some survivors that exited the ship. But yeah, it looks like it's been here for like 5 or 6 decades at least. And the exposure to, the sandstorms and stuff has really taken its toll on the hull and the condition of everything.
The sand air looks pretty rough. I say we activate the it's just like a beacon, right, on our ship, just a locator beacon or something, just to send some location up intermittently. And
to the Are you
Yeah, to the
asking
Solovetsky Island. Yeah,
on
yeah.
this? Oh, okay, all right. Oh, you mean
Just
on the dropship?
yeah. Just so that they know where we landed,
Okay,
kind of thing.
okay. Yeah,
Um,
you can activate that.
yeah, I mean, I imagine they wouldn't see it right away, but if they do come down, they might be able to find us, then and know where we landed. But see, our priority is to make contact with the colony. I suspect that there's some good information or some clues in this shipwreck, but um, as far as I'm concerned, this was just a really good parking space in the shade of this Bison class transport. Let's do any of the crew or any of the away team feel interested? Look like they're interested in going into there? Because I say let's start trekking toward the
So
colony.
Hamada speaks up and she says, "I do have concerns if there's anyone living in there, they might have access to our ship. But if we lock it up, um, I think I'll be fine with leaving it behind. I mean, that place doesn't look like it'd be a very pleasant place to be living, so um, I'm willing to risk it."
If there's anyone that's on that ship, we're not finding them, before noon. So we have pressing things to do. Let's lock up the drop ship, like the little beep beep car alarm setting.
So it's a little more complicated than that, but Dudge raises the ramp on the dropship and can secure it with a code on the outside to ensure that no one can get access into the ship itself. And then
we could also leave Dudge with the dropship.
That's also a possibility. Do you want to do that instead?
Hamida, does that make you feel better? Let's leave Dudge with the ship, because if he needs to, he can come pick us up.
Yeah.
I guess so. Dudge, you have a blaster. You have a blaster with you, right? Yeah. Don't know how good I am with it, but I got one. And Hamida relents and is willing to leave Dudge behind because he probably isn't going to be able to contribute much once they arrive at the colony. All right, so the three of you begin your trek across the ravine. So as that starts to take place, the camera fades out into the sky, and we come back to Dr. Bircher huddled over a microscope, trying to figure out exactly what is going on with these brain samples.
Yeah, every once in a while, I'll wipe the perspiration from my brow and rub my eyes and see what I can see. Well, you can
All
tell I
right.
haven't had, even though it hadn't been long, it's like I haven't had sleep in a good while.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to need you to give me an observation roll to come to some conclusion based off of all of your samples. No successes. Do you want to push?
Yeah.
And then
I'm pushing.
just click push. Yeah.
Okay. Push. Now. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, just click the big green push button under your roll.
I had to turn it back to the thing. I had it on character. Push roll. Push it real good.
There you go. You got 3 successes.
Yes.
All
I had a
right.
breakthrough.
So
that light bulb on my head.
All right. Burst. So I'm going to establish what you know already, and then you can ask some questions about what it is that has, you've learned about this. So you already know that it is manipulating the DNA in Daver's brain. So your first success, I will let you know that it is a particular region regarding external communication, like how you process language. and communicate with people. So that is the region of the brain that it is affecting. So you can ask questions based off of that information. You get to ask two
Okay.
questions. The first one gave you that piece of information I just said.
Okay. So that sufficiently lets me know that it's isolated in that area of the brain primarily. Is where the rebuilding of the DNA or restructuring of the
Yes.
DNA is. The rest of it's
Yes.
not really being harmed. Um,
That's correct.
okay. So it's restructuring in a way I see to, uh, okay. Can I compare like, like I'm running it through these machines as far as like it being linguistically um, something that is relatable to the histories of peoples of the languages that we know in the database? Like it's directed toward that end, or is it something? Uh, well,
It
all of us say, extraterrestrial, but something kind of beyond.
it seems to be manipulating how the cells process language rather than it's not teaching another language. It's allowing communication in another form.
Well, that's what I was
So
kind of
and
trying to
and
reach to, like a
so
different form of language, not linguistically like
right,
humans
yes,
use, but
yes,
in some other way. I just want to round about.
yeah,
Okay.
it's yes, it seems to be fundamentally changing how it processes communication, and that would imply that it is not traditional like language and verbal
Okay.
or written
Now, at
communication.
the detriment, this is the second question. At the detriment of understanding, like, do I see that this restructuring would eliminate previous knowledge or understanding of that the individual would have of languages that he knew? Like, do you could he multitask the languages? Is there going to be a
Yes,
loss
it is not.
of that?
Yeah, it's more of an addition rather than a destructive inversion.
Okay. Um,
Cool.
so it's another way of processing uh, languages that. Okay, the third question is it uh, more akin to verbal language or mental telepathy in a way?
Um, you, I mean, you don't have a lot of experience with telepathy, and you
Well, I mean
question
something
whether that's
else.
even possible. Well, let me finish.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
but the method, the the way that these cells would now be processing information is unlike anything that you have seen before, and it is quite possible that it may be some higher level of communication like telepathy.
Okay. So something outside of the realms of what we was scientifically verifiable with the brain. So,
Yeah, I mean,
uh,
there's certainly
I mean, this is a
you've
dual.
heard about experimentation of them of humans trying uh, to make that possible, and there's been talk of uh, theoretical discussions and stuff of that, but uh, it's possible that this is an actual physical
Well, you said
example of a cell that would be able to do it.
okay. So, but you said communication implies that it's a two-way street instead of just being a receptor of whatever information is coming
Yes.
at you. So I'd have to concur that the individual would be able to communicate back, and that's what I'm gathering. Okay, this is I don't know. I don't know if this is a question more so than during the time I've been seeing this. Uh, I've obviously seen an accelerated growth of the building of the cell because it's in process of transferring it. Um, But is it doing it rapidly, or is it, like, is the
Uh,
countdown
I
clock
mean,
kinda
you don't you
don't
don't
really
really
know?
have anything to compare it to. It
Gotcha.
does seem to have progressed substantially since you first encountered this when you found him unconscious.
At least to the
You
point
don't
where I
know.
could get it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know at what point it's actually going to stop, but it seems to have completely. Uh, it's about 75% completed its conversion of this area of the brain.
Okay. And then maybe it took that long, at least justifiably so, for me to understand the end result, or the computers too. Okay. So at this point in time, um, that's when I'll get up with this new information and try to go search out my colleagues, especially probably one now that everybody's awake that might be of uh, with communications, you know. So, or linguistic specialist, or anybody like that on the ship that I could
Okay.
contact with, and pick their brain.
All right. So as you you come to these conclusions, you decide to go discuss it with your crew, and you begin to leave the the infirmary, or the med pod area of the infirmary,
Yeah.
and you go to open the door, and it is not responding to your inputs. You
Damn,
re-enter your
damn
security
it,
key several
Windows.
times, and all of a sudden you hear a hissing coming from the ventilation shafts, or
Oh, it's doing
the
it
vents
again.
above you,
Oh no.
and that
You
is where
would
we're
do
going
with
to
your
stop. And we will pick up
Ah.
there next time. And who
gee
knows if Windows
whiz.
is going to come to help Dr. Bircher after all of the snotty comments he made.
Who left the windows open?
Jonesy, Jonesy, is it Jonesy?
Uh-oh.
Oh
Uh-oh.
man,
There we go.
All
pretty
right.
precarious position there.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
Oh
round
right.
two,
well, I'll
round
save you
two
if I
class.
can. I don't know if I'm up to it. Maybe I'll have.
You'll be outside. You'll incur another panic outside the door trying to open it. I can't open it. Do I turn it? It's just like that Far Side comic when you're pushing on the door and it says
Or
pull.
pull. Yeah. That's funny. Oh gosh.
All
Geez.
right.
That
So
was good.
we'll pick up with that next week and what Windows is going to do. And then we will find out what is going on down at the colony
Okay.
afterwards.
I
So
should. I just gotta tell you, I should be home. In time to play Monday. Okay, but there is a slight chance I might be delayed. So.
what, you're going to